Hi guys, welcome back to day 5 of the 30-day Joyful Movement Fitness Challenge. I have yet another spicy full body yoga sculpt workout for y'all. So again, if you have them, all we need is a set of weights. If not, that's okay, forget about them. Every time I cue 2 weights, remember body weight movement works just as well. If you do have weights, place them at the top of your mat and let's get started. All right, we're gonna start our workout today in a child's pose. So send your knees out wide as your mat. Send your palms up towards the edge of the front. And just take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale everything in. Exhale, sigh everything out. Sink your hips down low, close to your mat. Send your fingers up towards the front of your mat and just breathe. Elongate through your spine. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh everything out. Couple more like this right here. This is your time. Come into your mind, into your body. Set your intention. How do you want to feel at the end of class today? One more breath. Inhale. Exhale everything out. On your inhale, shift up through tabletop and into a child's pose push-up at the bottom. Then shift back into that child's pose. As you inhale, shift up, find that push-up. Then exhale, send it back. In your child's pose push-up, your big toes stay touching, your knees stay out wide. You find a tricep push-up with your arms, elbows squeezing tight towards your side. Then you launch it back. Engage your core here, squeeze it tight as you lift and lower. Couple seconds here. Breathe with it. Last 4. Last 3. Pulse at the bottom of your push-up in 2. 1, just pulse at the bottom of your push-up. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Last 4. Last 3, child's pose in 2. 1, shift it back into that child pose. Take a deep breath in. Then exhale everything out. On your inhale, find table, top, stack your joints. Shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Take a couple of cat-cows. Inhale, cow, stretch your chest up long. Then exhale, cat, round through your spine. Take your breath, your movement here. Inhale, stretch your chest. And exhale, round through your spine. You can take a little bit of movement here. Maybe you roll side to side with your spine. Maybe you flip your wrist so your fingers face the back of your mat. Little wrist stretch here. Inhale. Exhale, round that spine. Last 5. Last 4. Find a neutral spine in 3. In 2. 1. Exhale, neutral spine. Inhale, tuck your toes under. Then exhale, lift your knees up off of your mat just a couple of inches. Little bear pose hold. Hover those knees right before. Feel your legs start to engage, your core start to burn. Press into your palms. Couple of seconds here. Last 4. Last 3. Step it back to high plank in 2. 1. Step it back to high plank. Then step it back into that bear pose. We step it out, then step it in. Hover those knees. Don't let them touch your mat. Breathe with it. Take these nice and slow. In, out. Keep your spine in line, nice and straight. As you walk it in, feel your core start to burn. Your shoulders are starting to feel this. Almost there. High plank in 4. High plank in 3. Last 2. 1, find your high plank. Inhale, stay. Exhale, down dog. Send it back. First down dog of the day. Option, find a little bit of movement here. Maybe you bend through one knee, then through the next. Take your dog on a walk. On your inhale, lift up high on your tippy toes. Then exhale, plant through your heels. Feel that stretch in the backside of your legs. One more like that. Inhale, lift up high. Then exhale, press your heels down. On your inhale, gaze forward. Then exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, reset your spine. Then exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, mountain pose, reach it up. Breathe here just a moment. Palms face in towards one another. Relax your shoulder blades down. Squeeze your core in. Inhale. Exhale, mini back bend, 90-degree bend in your elbows. Stretch your spine just a little bit. Exhale, inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, reset. Exhale, high plank, step it back. Inhale to stay. Exhale, down, dog. Send your hips back. On your inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, travel. Inhale, halfway lift, reset. Exhale, forward fold, dive. Inhale, chair pose. Hands at heart center. Your left leg is your mover. We have step back lunges and together. Step it back, together, back, together. Your left leg is your moving leg. Your right leg stays planted this entire time. Lower it back, then stand it together. Your right leg is starting to feel that fatigue, lower it back. Then together, option. You can have your hands at heart center. You can have them at your hip bone. Or if you want that challenge, you can take your hands up high. Change that blood flow to your heart. Last 4. Last 3, land in crescent with airplane arms in 2. 1, exhale, crescent, airplane arms. You land with your left foot back. 90-degree bend in your front knee. Send your palms up past your spine. Squeeze your palms together just 1 inch. Exhale, crescent, airplane. Inhale, crescent, lunge. Hands at heart center, heel lift. Inhale, exhale, lift your heel, lower down. Then lift your heel, down, then heel lift. Your right leg is lifting your heel. Feeling lots of pressure in your calf muscle and your quad as you use those heel lifts. Squeeze your lower body. If you need to, you can find a deep bend in your left leg, sink you just a couple of inches lower. Lower down, then lift. Squeeze your core. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1, inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior 2, open up to the sides. Stand it up, prop your foot to the corner of the room, hands at heart center, side lunges. Inhale, stay. Exhale, side lunge down. Inhale up, exhale, side lunge. Inhale up, exhale, lower down. As we lunge, 90-degree bend in your front knee. That is your lowest point. Then you stand it up. Think as if you are sitting back into a chair rather than reaching towards the side. Stack your joints, lower down, then lift up. If it feels better, you can always take your hands down at your hips. Lower down, then lift and stand. Take up space on your mat, sink a little bit lower. Last 4. 3, warrior 2, in 2. 1, exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, star pose, jumping jacks to out to in, out. A little bit of cardio breaking up these movements. Out, in, out. Couple more seconds here. Stay with that if you need to. You can always take a low impact option and step it out rather than hop. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1, inhale, star pose. Exhale, horse pose. Sink it down into that leg squat and just pulse it low. Pulse. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Just a couple of seconds here. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1, exhale, horse. Inhale, star. Exhale, high plank, windmill your hands down. Inhale to stay. Exhale, down, dog, send your hips back. On your inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, travel. Inhale, halfway lift, reset. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, chair pose, hands at heart center. Your right leg is your mover this time. Step back lunges, then bring it together. Inhale back, exhale lift. Inhale down, exhale tap it together. Again, if you need to, you can take your hands at heart center. You can take them at your hips. Or if you want that challenge, you can take your hands above your head. Change that blood flow. Tap it in, then back. Hover your knee right before it touches. Feel that tension build. Last 4. Last 3, land in crescent with airplane arms in 2. 1, exhale, crescent lunge, airplane arms. Shoot your hands back, squeeze your palms together. 90-degree bend in your front knee. Exhale, inhale, crescent lunge. Hands come to heart center, heel lift. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Lower, lift, lower, lift. We've been here on one side. Now we're moving to the next, so we're down. Lift, feel your calf muscle squeeze, your quad muscle as it's countering it. A couple of seconds. Squeeze your core nice and tight, balance from your midsection. Last 4. Last 3, crescent lunge. In 2. 1, inhale, crescent. Exhale, warrior 2, open up towards the side. Stand it on up, hands at heart center. Prop that foot into that angle of the room, side lunges. Inhale, stay. Exhale, side lunge. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Stand it up, then lower it down. Again, if it feels more comfortable, you can take your hands at your waist. Stand it up, then lower down. Stand it up, lower. Again, we are sending our hips back. Hinge at your hips. 90-degree bend in your front knee. Moving towards the front side of your mat, only targeting your left leg this time. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1, exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, star pose one more time, jumping jacks. Out to in, out in. One more time here. Little bit of cardio, breaking up those movements. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, star. Pose, exhale, force pose. Pulse it low, pulse, pulse, pulse. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Last 4. Final 3, 2, 1. Exhale, force. Inhale, star. Exhale, high plank, windmill your hands down. Inhale to stay. Exhale, find inchworms. Crawl to the back of your mat. At the top, find a squat jump. Then find your high plank. Crawl back up. Lower it back. Crawl to the back of your mat. Find that squat jump. Then find your high plank. Little bit more cardio before we pick up our weights. Inchworm, find that high plank. Then step it back. Find that squat jump. If the squat jump doesn't serve you, that's okay. When you meet the back, stand it up. Find a squat with a calf raise. Then lower it down. Find your high plank. Again, you can find that squat, calf raise, then lower. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Send it back. Take a couple of breaths here. Let's get into the weighted part of our practice. If you have them at the top of your mat. Couple of safety cues to remember. When we move from star into our high plank, pull your weights in, pivot to the front, then plant them down. No weights in halfway lift ever. And when you hold your weights, micro bend in your elbows, protect your joints. Whenever you're ready, find your down dog. Take one more deep breath in. Then exhale everything out. On your inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, travel. Inhale, halfway lift, reset. Exhale, forward fold, grab your weights if you have them. Inhale, chair pose, hands at heart center. Your left leg is your mover. We just have our step back lunges. Step it back, then together. Step it back, together. All we are doing in this movement is adding weight to our hands. With your weights in your hands, squeeze them together, lift them off your chest. Your pec muscles will feel that engagement. Step it back, then bring it together. Hover that knee right before it touches your mat. 90-degree bend in your front knee. Stack your knee over your ankle. Couple more seconds. Last 4. Last 3. Land in crescent airplane arms. Into 1. Exhale, crescent airplane arm tricep kickbacks. Inhale at your hips. Exhale, kick back. Find your hips. Kick them back. Find your hips. kick them back. Now option here, if you need to, you can drop down to your back knee, keep that bent in your right knee, and find your tricep kickbacks back there. Find your hips, then launch them back. Hips, launch them back. In your tricep kickbacks, one thing we want to be aware of is stopping our weights at our hip bones. When we swing them forward, we lose all that engagement in your triceps. It becomes a bicep movement. Launch them back, have them meet your hips. Launch them back, meet your hips. Squeeze your triceps at the top. Find that pause, then lower down. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1. Exhale, crescent airplane. Inhale, crescent. Lunge, lunge into a shoulder press. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Lower down, then lift. Breathe with it. Your elbows come to that 90-degree bend. Then you launch your weights up. Lower down, then lift. If you need to. We've been in that crescent lunge for a while. You can drop down to your back knees. Find your narrow shoulder press there. Lower down, then lift. Lower down, then lift. Couple more seconds here. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. Open it up. Arnold presses. Bring your palms in, then out. Lift your weights up. Lower down. In, out, lift, lower. In your Arnold presses, your palms come in towards your face. Then you lift them up. If you need to, you can always find this one arm at a time. Sink down low in your warrior 2 legs. 90-degree bend in that front knee. Take up space on your mat. That is what it is here for. Add a lunge. In 3, in 2, 1. So we lunge down, bring them in. Then we stand it up, stand it, press. Lunge down, in, stand and press. Down, in, stand, press. Now in our lunge, in a warrior 2, your lowest point is that 90-degree bend in your knee. You stop it there, then you stand it up. That is the lowest point of your lunge. Press, lower, then in. Stand and press. Lower, then in. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, star. Pose weighted jacks here. Out to in. Out to in. A little bit more cardio. If you need to, at any point, drop one weight, bring one weight at the center, and find your weighted jacks there. If you need to, you can drop both your weights down. Find regular jumping jacks. One more option, you can always tap it to the side as you lift your hands up. Last 4. Last 3, star pose in 2. 1, inhale, star. Exhale, horse pose, lower it down. We have 2 pulses at the bottom into a bicep curl. Pulse, 2, then curl. Wide squat, 2 pulse, then bicep curl at the top. Pulse, 2, stand. In your pulse, you find your lowest point. 1 inch up, 1 inch down, then stand. Squeeze your glutes at the top. Lower, lower, lift. In your bicep curl, elbows squeeze in tight at your sides. When you lower down, hold a bend in your elbows. Keep that tension there. Lower down, down, lift. Squeeze your core tight as you lift your weights up. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1. Exhale, horse pose. Just pulse it down. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. One more move after this. Pulse, pulse, pulse. With your weights at heart center, lift them off your chest. If you need to, drop down to one singular weight and just pulse, pulse. Couple of seconds here, breathe with it. Last 10 seconds, pulse. Breathe with it. last 4, final 3, last 2. 1, stand it up, shake it out just for a second. One final move on this side. When you're ready, lower it down. Sink low in your horse pose. We have alternating heel lifts with the lateral arm raise. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Lift your weight, then lower it down. Use both your sides. So you lift one hand, then the same heel, then lower down. The same heel and hand, then lower. Lift it up, then lower. Lift, then lower.
This one is for the boys.
Almost there. Last 4. Last 3. Horse pose. In 2, 1. Exhale, horse pose. Inhale, star. Exhale, high plank. Pull your weights in. Pivot to the front. Plant them down. Inhale to stay. Exhale, find those inchworms at the back. Take that squat jump. Then inchworm all the way back into that high plank. A little bit more cardio. Then we find our other side. Find that hop if you need to. You can always stay low. Instead of that hop, find that calf raise into a squat. Then find your high plank. Almost there. Last 4. Last 3. High plank in 2. 1, inhale, high plank. Exhale, down, dog, send it back. One more side. That is all you have. If you need to, shake it out, grab some water, release all that tension we built. One more side. That is it, that is all you have. Then a little bit of core, and then we cool it down. We're almost there. We're almost there. When you're ready, exhale, find your down dog. On your inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, travel. Inhale, halfway lift, no weights. Exhale, fold, pick up your weights. On your inhale, chair pose. Weights at heart center. This time, your right leg is your mover. Step back lunges, then together. Step your leg back, then bring it together. Moving on to that next side, stepping back, then together. Now here's the thing. Our side is a little bit more fatigued than it was on the other side. These are not new movements. We are reintroducing them on the next side. So if you feel more tired, that's okay. At any point, you can shake it out. Get right back into it. If you need to, you can lower your weights down by your side and find your step back lunges there. Hover your knee right before it touches the mat. Then step your right leg, lightly tap it in. Last 4, last 3, final 2. 1, exhale, land in a crescent with airplane arms. One more time, tricep kickbacks. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Lower down, lift up. Lower down, lift. Again, if you need to, you can drop down to your back knee. Keep that 90-degree bend in your front knee. Your weights come into your hips. You hinge forward, launch your weights out. Have them meet your hips. Again, if we swing them forward, we lose all that engagement in your triceps. That is what we are looking for. I'm taking my knee. I'm taking my knee. Now listen, if you didn't take your knee on one side and you took it on the other, I promise you'll survive. I promise your muscles will still be pretty much equal. It's okay to take a rest. Last 5, last 4, crescent airplane arms in 3, in 2, 1, exhale, crescent airplane. Inhale, crescent lunge. This time, a lunge into a wide squat. Inhale down, exhale up. Not a wide squat, into a wide shoulder press. Y'all knew what I meant. If you need to at any point, drop down to that back knee. Forget that lunge and find your wide shoulder press. I promise I know my movements. Lower down, then lift. Elbows come into that 90-degree bend. Hold it at shoulder height, then launch your weights up nice and high. Couple more movements here. Last 4, last 3, crescent lunge in 2, 1. I'm gonna switch my sides, but you guys stay where you are. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior 2, open up towards the front. This time, pec decks, 90-degree bend in your elbows. Bring your palms towards your front, then lower them out. Bring your palms towards your front, then out. Lift your weights in, then out. Lift your weights in. Release that tension away from your shoulders. At any point, feel free to take this one arm at a time. You can lift your weight out, then bring it in. Then alternate your sides, out to in. Hold those elbows at 90 degrees. Sink down low in your warrior 2, 90-degree bend. Take up space on your mat. That is what it is here for. Add a lunge in 3, in 2, 1. So we lunge down and then we stand it up, bring arms out. Lunge down, stand it up. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, stand. Again, your deepest point of your lunge is that 90-degree bend. We stop our shin there. Then we stand it up. Tiny range of motion here. Lower down, then lift. Couple seconds here. Last 4. Last 3. Final 2. 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, star pose. 1 final time. Weighted jacks out to in. Last little round of cardio. That's actually a lie. We have 1 more after this, but that's okay. We'll survive. Again, if you need to, drop down to 1 singular weight. Collect it at heart center. Find your weighted jacks. If you need to release both your weights down, find a regular jumping jacks. Couple more moves here. 10 seconds, breathe with it. Last 5. Last 4, star pose. In 3, 2, 1. Inhale, star. Exhale, horse pose, lower down. Bring your elbows to your side, palms facing. This time, 2 wide squat pulses into a hammer curl. Down, pulse, stand. Pulse, 2, then we stand. The only difference on this side is your palms face in tight towards one another. Working a different part of our bicep here. Pulse it low, 2, then stand. Down, 2, stand. Sink your hips nice and low. Send it as low as you can, then lift it up. Last 10 seconds. Breathe with it. If you need to, shake it out, get right back into it. This is your workout. Final 4. Last 3, wide squat. In 2, 1, take your wide squat. Weights at heart center. Just pulse it low. Pulse, pulse. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Feel that tension build in your glutes. Your quads should be burning as well, countering your glutes as you lift and lower. Last 4. Last 3, horse pose. Into 1, horse pose. Stand it up. Shake it out, just a second. Just a second. 1 final move. 1 final move when you're ready. Lower it down, horse pose. Lower your weights down. This time, we lift our weights to the side and heel left. Then we lower down. Lift your weights. You know what's gonna be embarrassing? If we did this on the other side. That's okay. If we did, that's okay. That's the point of working out, right? I can't remember what I'm doing on each side. Lift and lower. Lift, lower. Alternate the hands that work. And lift the same heel as we lift our hand out. Last 4. 3, even out your sides. Last 2. Last 1, exhale, horse pose. Inhale, star. Exhale, high plank, pull, pivot, plant your weights down. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, final time. Take that inchworm to the back. Find that squat jump. Then find your high plank. This is your final cardio burst here. Find your high plank. Then walk it back. Squat jump at the top. Take whatever option you decided to take this class. Challenge yourself. Do what your body will allow. Leave what doesn't serve you. Final 5. Last 4. High plank in 3. Last 2. One, inhale, high plank. Exhale, find a child's pose. Drop your knees down. Send your knees out wide towards your mat. Then bring your hands up towards the front of your mat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh everything out. Now, take this moment. Just take a couple of breaths. Feel this deep stretch. Here's the thing. The reason I put this little child's pose right before core is because most of our core is going to be done in a high plank. So, I promise you'll survive, but we're going to make it through together. So, find that child's pose. Inhale, reach your hands forward. Exhale, sink your hips nice and low. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale everything out. On your inhale, shift up into that tabletop. Then send your knees together and step back into a high plank. This is your last little bout of work. Shoulder taps. Inhale, stay. Exhale, tap one shoulder. Lower down, then tap. Down, tap. Alternate the sides you work on. Lower down, then tap. Now, a couple of options here. If you find your hips are swaying side to side, take your feet as wide as your mat. Find that stability there. Keep your midsection clear of movement. Now, if you need to, you can also drop down to your knees and find your shoulder taps there. Again, the wider your knees, the more stability you will feel. If you take the option at any point to drop down to your knees should be angled behind your hip bones. Squeeze your core, feel that tension there. Lower down, then tap. Glue the shoelace side of your feet down at your mat. Hold that tension. Last 5. Last 4. Final 3. Last 2. 1, inhale, high plank. Exhale, drop down to a low plank, body seesaws. Inhale, shift up on your toes. Exhale, lower them down. Inhale, shift up. Exhale, shift back to your heels. Shift forward, then shift back. Squeeze your core. Lower your hips down, shoulder height. Gaze is between your palms. Couple more seconds here. Shift up, then back. Last 4. Last 3, low plank in 2. 1, exhale, low plank, inhale, high plank. One final move in our high plank. Find plank up downs. Inhale to stay. Exhale, lower down, low plank. Inhale, high plank, line it up. Then exhale, low plank, lower it down. Lift it up, lower, down, down. Now take these couple of options. If you're swaying side to side, take your feet out as wide as your mat. Steady your hips. Also, you can find your knees down at your mat. If you do, remember, take that angle. Lower down, then lift up. Last 4. High plank in 3. High plank in 2. 1, inhale, high plank. Exhale, drop your knees down, flip your legs around. Couple movements on our back, then we are done. If you need to, shake it out, grab a drink. When you're ready, lower it all the way down. Find regular crunches. Bring your hands behind your head. Regular crunches, inhale, stay. Exhale, crunch in, slower down, then crunch, down, crunch. Feel that squeeze in your core. Lift your shoulder blades off of your mat, then lower down. Squeeze your core at the center, then release everything. Light grip on your head. Take your fingers, gently place them behind your head. There should be little to no pressure in your hands. Release your chin away from your chest. Release all of that tension in your neck. Last 5. Last 4. Final 3. Last 2. 1. Legs go up the wall. Your final move. If you need to, take your thumbs, place them underneath your hip bones. Scissor kicks, so we lower down. Scissor kicks. Lift one leg and then the other. Feel that squeeze in your core. Now, if your low back is creeping off of your mat, lift your legs, lessen that angle. We want that low back glued on your mat. Even if your legs are up at that 90 degree, I promise your core will still feel that work. Almost there. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your legs down. You have made it to the end. On your inhale, bring your hands up above your head. One full good morning stretch. Then exhale, bring both your knees in tight toward your chest. Give your body one tight hug. Then exhale, lower your legs down to the left side of your body. Take your gaze down over to the right for a supine twist. Option to T or cactus those arms. Allow your gaze to fall down. Just take a couple of moments here. You made it to your stretch. Exhale. Inhale, pull your knees in tight. Bring them into a tight hug. Then exhale, lower them down to the right side this time. Stack your hips. T or cactus those arms. Let your gaze fall down to the opposite side. Exhale. On your inhale, pull your knees in tight. Give your body one final tight hug of practice. Have your forehead meet your knees. Then exhale, lower everything down. Take these final few moments. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, let everything go. Feel free to stay here as long as you need. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in day 5 of the 30 Days of Joyful Movement Fitness Challenge. The main point here is just reconnecting with the happiness that comes with moving our body. So be so proud of every type of movement that you decide to get in throughout your day, your week, your month, your year. Join me tomorrow for day 6. It's a shorter 20-minute HIIT workout. And then day 7 is gonna be our rest day where I will be posting a guided stretch. I'll see you guys later.